Life's unfairness, a path to strength. We've all felt it. That sinking feeling when someone else gets the promotion you worked countless hours for, the sting when your business fails despite your best efforts, while others succeed seemingly without trying, the pain when health problems strike despite your disciplined lifestyle, the frustration when opportunities seem to flow freely to others, while you struggle for every small win. Life's unfairness can feel like a personal attack, leaving us questioning everything. But what if I told you that life's unfairness isn't a bug in the system, it's a feature? What if the very inequities we rage against are actually the forges that temper our character and shape our greatest strengths? Today we're diving deep into this universal human experience. We'll confront the harsh realities head-on, but I promise you'll emerge with a perspective that doesn't just help you accept life's unfairness, it will show you how to harness it. The truth is that fairness was never promised to us. From the moment we're born, the playing field isn't level. Some enter this world with advantages of wealth, connections, stable families, good genetics, or supportive environments. Others face obstacles from day one: poverty, discrimination, health challenges, or limited opportunities. We don't choose our starting point, yet these initial conditions profoundly shape our journey. Even beyond our origins, random chance plays a starring role in our lives. Two equally talented musicians might pursue the same dream one happens to perform when the right industry executive is in the audience, while the other plays two empty rooms for years. A brilliant entrepreneur might launch their innovation just as the market shifts, while another identical business thrives simply due to timing. A careful driver might face a life-altering accident, while a reckless one never faces consequences. These disparities can feel crushing. When we witness others achieving with ease what we struggle desperately to attain, resentment naturally follows. When our genuine efforts go unrewarded, while half-hearted attempts by others yield success, bitterness takes root. This is human. This is normal. But here's where our paths can diverge. We can allow this unfairness to define us, to become the central narrative of our lives. We can let it harden into cynicism or defeatism. We can withdraw from the game entirely, declaring it rigged and not worth playing. Many do exactly this, and their potential remains forever unrealized. Or we can see life's unfairness differently. Consider this. Would you truly want a perfectly fair world? Imagine if outcomes were precisely proportional to effort. If success came in exact measurement to how hard you worked. If happiness arrived in perfect correlation to how good you were. This might sound appealing at first glance, but such a world would be mechanistic, predictable, and ultimately hollow. The unpredictability of life its unfairness is what creates space for the miraculous, for breakthrough, for the underdog victory, for redemption arcs and unexpected comebacks, for innovation born of necessity, for communities rallying around those facing hardship, for the cultivation of resilience that can only develop through adversity. History's pages are filled with individuals who faced profound unfairness, yet used it as fuel. Consider Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for 27 years, yet emerging not with bitterness, but with visionary leadership that transformed a nation. Think of Beethoven, creating some of humanity's most beautiful music while deaf. Remember J.K. Rowling, writing Harry Potter while battling depression and poverty as a single mother? These individuals didn't succeed because life was fair to them. They succeeded partly because it wasn't. When we look closer at our own lives, we often discover that our greatest growth springs from our deepest challenges. The job rejection that forced us to develop new skills, a relationship that ended painfully but taught us crucial lessons about ourselves, the failure that humbled us and revealed blind spots we needed to address. This isn't toxic positivity or suggesting that suffering is always valuable. Some injustices are simply wrong and should be fought against. Systemic discrimination, abuse, exploitation, these aren't character-building experiences to be grateful for. They're injustices that diminish human potential and dignity. Yet even in confronting these larger unfairnesses, our response matters profoundly. Those who change systems rarely do so from a place of vengeful rage or paralyzing victimhood. They act from moral clarity, strategic thinking, and a vision of what could be. They transform their justified anger into purposeful action rather than consuming bitterness. So how do we navigate life's unfairness without being crushed by it? How do we acknowledge reality without surrendering to cynicism? First, we must practice radical acceptance. This doesn't mean approving of unfairness or stopping efforts to create more equitable conditions. It means seeing reality clearly instead of exhausting ourselves fighting against what already is. The promotion went to someone else. Your health challenge is real. The opportunity did pass you by. Accepting these facts doesn't mean liking them. It means freeing mental energy that would otherwise be spent denying or raging against established reality. Second, we must distinguish between what we can and cannot control. We cannot control our starting circumstances, random events, others' decisions, or systemic conditions. But we absolutely control our response. Viktor Frankl, surviving Nazi concentration camps, discovered this ultimate freedom that cannot be taken away. The freedom to choose our attitude in any circumstance. This isn't mere philosophical comfort, it's practical power. By focusing intently on what we can influence rather than what we cannot, we reclaim agency. Third, we must develop perspective that extends beyond our immediate situation. When we zoom out looking at our whole life rather than this moment, considering humanity's journey rather than just our own patterns emerge, we see how previous unfair challenges led to unexpected growth. We recognize cycles of difficulty and breakthrough. We understand that our current chapter isn't the entire story. Fourth, we can cultivate strategic optimism. This isn't naive positivity that denies problems. It's the disciplined practice of identifying opportunities within constraints, of asking what now, instead of just why me. Searching for leverage points where limited resources or effort can create maximum impact. It's the entrepreneur's mindset that sees problems as market gaps, waiting for solutions. Fifth, we must build resilience deliberately. Resilience isn't just bouncing back, it's bouncing forward. It's emerging from challenges with new capabilities, insights, and strengths. This happens through intentional habits, physical self-care, meaningful connections, purposeful reflection, and skills development. Resilience isn't something some people magically have, its capacities we all can cultivate. Look at nature itself. The most robust ecosystems aren't those with perfect conditions. They're those that have adapted to stress and variability. Trees grown and controlled, perfect environments typically cannot withstand their first storm. While those that developed against wind and weather stand strong, our resilience follows similar principles. The question isn't whether you'll face unfairness, you will. The question is whether that unfairness will define you or refine you. When you're passed over despite deserving recognition, will you allow resentment to consume you, or will you channel that emotion into becoming undeniable? When random misfortune strikes, will you become trapped in endless why me questions? Or will you ask what now? When you see others getting easily what you work desperately for, will you quit the game or change how you play it? There's dignity in continuing forward despite unfair conditions. There's power in refusing to let circumstances dictate your worth or potential. There's wisdom in extracting lessons from unfair situations rather than just emotional reactions. Many of history's most significant achievements came from people who had every reason to quit, who faced barriers that weren't fair, who could have justifiably surrendered to circumstance. Instead, they used unfairness as their launching pad. They didn't succeed despite unfairness in many ways. They succeeded because of how it shaped them. Consider your own life. Think about challenges you've overcome that seemed insurmountable at the time. Remember moments when unfairness eventually led to unexpected good. Reflect on how your character has been forged through difficulties rather than comforts. This perspective doesn't make unfairness disappear, nor should it. Life without challenge would develop neither our strength nor our compassion. We need resistance to grow stronger. We need obstacles to develop problem-solving abilities. We need exposure to others' struggles to cultivate empathy. So perhaps life isn't unfair so much as it is uneven. Its terrain features mountains and valleys rather than flat, predictable plains. The mountains require tremendous effort to climb, but offer perspectives impossible to gain elsewhere. The valleys can be dark and disorienting, but often contain the richest soil for growth. As we conclude, remember this. Your response to life's unfairness will be one of your most defining choices. You can't control whether unfairness enters your story, but you absolutely control whether it becomes your story's central theme or merely the backdrop against which your resilience, creativity, and determination shine. The next time life deals you an unfair hand, pause before reacting. Ask yourself, how might this challenge be developing capacities I'll need later? What perspectives might I gain through this difficulty that success couldn't teach me? How can I use this experience to cultivate greater empathy for others facing similar struggles? Life's unfairness isn't a mistake in the system it's built into the design. It's not to break us, but to make us stronger, wiser, and more compassionate than we could ever become in a perfectly fair world. The question isn't whether you'll face unfairness. The question is what you'll become because of it. The greatest victory isn't avoiding life's unfairness. It's transforming it into your advantage, your teacher, your refining fire. That transformation doesn't happen automatically. It happens through conscious choice, repeated daily. To see beyond what is happening to you and focus instead on what is happening within you. So today, I challenge you. Don't wish for an easier life. Wish instead for the strength to transform whatever life gives you, fair or unfair, into something meaningful. It's not the fairness of your circumstances, but the quality of your response that will write your legacy. You are stronger than life's unfairness. Not despite it, but because of how you choose to meet it.